Welcome everyone to Sony Pole Day qualifying for the 22nd annual Daytona 500. We have 57 cars, 57 teams attempting to make the Daytona 500. And the first car out will be Luke Martin in the Viagra Ford. Martin has been quick all speed weeks. In practice, let's see how he ran in practice. Martin, he ran a 47.492 in practice all by himself. We're going to have to see where that lines him up. Luke Martin with a one-off team, United Emirates Racing, looking for some big things. Half the season, they're going to get supported by Martin Motorsports. Half the season, they're going to get supported by Turner Performance Racing. But Martin, as he comes to the line, it'll be a 46.525. He slows down just a smidgen from what he ran in practice, trying to get as good a lap as he can. Actually, he ran very quicker than he actually did. That's nearly a second quicker than he did in practice because he ran a 47.4 and he runs a 46.5. Martin sets the pace right now. Bradley Bishop Jr. will be our second qualifier of the day. Bishop Jr. qualified about the same as what Luke Martin did, but let's look at this. Practice had the sun out. Temperatures were a lot higher. So the temperature for qualifying here is really cool compared to what it was in practice. So can we expect a whole second pickup from what everyone's running? Possibly so, as Bishop Jr. doesn't look like he's hitting the speed that he should be heading off into turn 3. This speed does not look as good as Martin's. Looks like he's going to come up second to Luke Martin. But Blue Flare Motorsports is searching for that first career win. They've been racing since 2015. They have not won a points-paying event. And Bishop Jr., he picks up as well. There's going to be a lot of pickups. A lot of drivers are going to be picking up times in this session because track temperatures are cooler than what they were in practice. And a 46.889 for Bradley Bishop Jr. puts him second out of 2 cars. Doug Lockrow, rookie team, rookie driver. Coast to Coast Motorsports attempting their first Sony Cup Series race. This team came out of the blue in the shadows and speed weeks. They got together and built a car within a month in just like 3 weeks. Got a car down here. It's their only car they have. And they're ready to take it by storm. However, it's going to be an uphill battle. As Doug Lockrow went into turn 3 and he was 7 miles an hour slower than Luke Martin in practice. Lockrow ran a 49.57. We're going to see where he runs. This track has cooled down a lot, so he should be able to pick it up, and he does, actually by a good bit. Lockrow picks up about a second and 2/10. He is third, however, and a ways off everyone else, but that is a huge pickup for Lockrow. 48.389, and he's going to have a uphill battle for sure when it comes down to the duels, but he will more than likely have to race his way in because his time trial does not look good enough. Nearly a second off of Martin right now. DJ Curtis, defending Sony Cup Series champion, is on the racetrack, and this is where the start of a new season begins for this race team to try and defend their championship. Really good lap run right now. He's still in the 190s. That is a fantastic run right now for Curtis. His teammate Lamas had a very good lap in qualifying. Curtis struggled in practice, actually, if I say qualifying. Lamas was really good in practice. Curtis struggled in practice. He was 39th on the time trial sheets. But Curtis, running really good. Must have shared information with Lamas. And the 2017 champion is going to bring it to the line. And Curtis, a 46.444, good enough to take to the top of the charts. And that is going to bump Luke Martin from first. Give it to DJ Curtis. Defending champion, he will go to the top of the board and will knock Luke Martin down a spot. As you guys watch Ryan Griffin, he's our 5th guy coming out. Griffin, this will be his sophomore season. Just coming off losing to Dejon Weeks for the Rookie of the Year campaign. They had a very good Rookie of the Year battle. We have another great rookie class this year. I'll get into that later on when some rookies come on out. But Griffin on the racetrack, having a pretty good lap, similar to what DJ Curtis is. Looks like right now he's a little bit better. But I want to note that DJ Curtis had a heck of a lap. I mean, he picked up a 1.5 seconds from practice. That is a huge pickup given even the weather dropping. But Griffin looks like he's going to knock down the pole right now. He's up in the speed. And coming to the line, Ryan Griffin ran a 47.73 in practice and a 46.41.9. Good enough to knock Curtis off the charts. And Ryan Griffin will go to the top of the board. Griffin on the outside front row. Last year came up short of the pole. But this year, right now, on the pole, will it stand? I don't know. He wasn't that quick in practice. I still believe everyone's going to give it a good shot at the pole right now. It's still really early. Zachary Fitzwater will be our 6th guy to come to the time trial sheets. Now, the track is really cooled off by a whole lot. Still cloudy. We had bad weather that rained out the shootout. Fitzwater was really good in that shootout. Had a chance to win it. However, his car does not look as good in single car speed. It does not look like it's going to be a pole run. However, the track temp has really cooled down. 4 out of the 5 guys have ran in the 46 seconds. However, in practice, only 1 driver out of the 57 were able to run in the 46s. So that just shows how cool the track temperatures are and how that has really helped these guys pick up speed. Fitzwater, in practice, I can't even find him on the... Yeah, there he is, 48.07. He goes all the way up. He picks up a 2 2/10, just like a normal pickup like for most of these guys here. A good run, and he just barely passes Bishop Jr. for the 4th position on the time trial sheets. Zachary Fitzwater places a 46.885. That is good enough for 4th quick right now. Here comes Cody Lamas, another Cybertron Motorsports entry. Cody Lamas, the 2015 Rookie of the Year. See what he can do. He's just flirting with a 190 in a turn 1. And this lap, scrubbing off speed in the turn. So Lamas doesn't look like he's going to get the pole either. Shared data with DJ Curtis, however, struggling to really compare to what DJ Curtis ran. He went in the corner at a 192, and he's actually keeping up the speed relatively nice. Still up in the 190s in 3 and 4, but he scrubbed off a good bit of speed in turns 1 and 2. That's really where he struggled when he got down in the bumps. And Cody Lamas, a 46.798. It's going to be good enough for 4th for the 10 team. Cody Lamas will line up with a 46.798. Good run for the 10 team. Aiden Davidson for Maverick Motorsports, known well as Wake Motorsports, renewed team. This team right now was not that good in practice, and they were not able to crack a 190 into the turn. So you can tell this is not going to be the time they want. Probably won't even be good enough to get in the 46-second bracket for the 21 of Aiden Davidson. He's getting up in the 190s, though, now into turn 3. 190 hitting off into turn 3. Davidson is getting some help from Yamp Motorsports, yet Maverick Motorsports, and them getting a little bit of some support. But Davidson possibly going to be somewhere in the 47 seconds. And yet, there it is. He's going to be lining up in 7th position for Aiden Davidson after running a 47.320 right now. Andreas Allen now on the racetrack, the Season 2 Daytona 500 champion. Wasn't even able to hit a 190 in a turn 1, somewhat like Aiden Davidson. Allen ran a 48.066 in practice. And if he could find a way to pick up a 2nd and 2/10, just like a bunch of other people have, he could run right there in the middle of where Fitzwater and Bishop Jr. are. But this lap isn't looking very sharp. It's looking like it's going to be right around where Davidson ran. Possibly, as Allen charges off of turn 4, this is going to be his final Daytona 500. 20 years in racing, 20 years ago, the Season 2 Daytona 500, and Allen runs a 47.21.4. That's good enough to put him 7th out of the 9 cars that have taken time right now. 47.21.4. Up next is our champion of Erik Burton, Season 9 champion to be exact. The new owner for Athenian Motorsports, and he didn't even reach 190. I know that team's going to be very disappointed because they have worked a lot over the offseason to try and get Athenian Motorsports prepped and ready. This car has no owner points heading into this speed weeks. So Burton, this team right here, he's relying on either a past champion provisional or to qualify or race his way in. And Burton, he's trying to get as much out of it as he can, but the horsepower and, well, the handling, like we said, in the shootout and even for qualifying is huge when you get here. And he just barely cracks in the 46 seconds. He'll get 7th. Erik Burton will get a 46.999, just barely in the 47 underneath the 47 seconds. Good run for Burton, as he'll be preparing for the duels on Thursday. New look for the 24 of Charles Sanford. Erik De Max has been driving this race car for the last 2 years, 2.5 if you want to be exact, in 2015. But Sanford looking to put Mase Enterprises on the front row for the Daytona 500. Looks pretty good. The Mase Enterprises cars, especially the 24 and the 25, look really good. And Sanford not playing around as he heads off into turn 3, 194. He's got to beat a 46.41.9. This is like a rejuvenating year for Sanford. The last 2 years, Sanford has not even cracked the top 20 in the points. Looking to change that this year. 46.47. This is going to put Sanford on the pole. Right now, on the pole right now, Sanford to the top of the board for a new ride this season. This is going to be exactly what he wants to do. But congratulations to Sanford. Man, this team has worked so hard. But he's not earned the pole yet. However, for right now, he's sitting on it and is going to wait patiently for the next 40 cars. Here comes one of the heavy hitters for qualifying, Jeffrey Lynn, the 2015 Sony pole winner. For Allen Family Racing Team, it's going to be his first season with these guys, but he's going to be rather disappointed because he didn't even reach 190 in the corner, and this is not going to be a pole run. Disappointing for Jeffrey Lynn and this team because they had high hopes to try and get the pole, but that car did not reach turn 1 and even make it through the corner as well as some other cars have. This is going to be right around where his teammates at. So the Allen Family Racing Team is going to have to work on their handling and try and squeeze every little horsepower they can get in that race car. And Lynn to the line. What is he going to run? 47.28.0. And that is just behind his boss of Andreas Allen. So a 47.28.0 for Jeffrey Lynn. Kyle Bisceglia for Roush Family Racing. They will be attempting the Daytona 500, and Bisceglia will be attempting his first ever Daytona 500 as well. This team was 44th in the time trial sheets. and they didn't even reach 190. If you want to be able to run a pole running lap, you got to at least be able to run in a turn 1 at least at 190 and be able to hold it through the corners. But Bisceglia, this team actually might be pretty impressed with their lap. However, they're not reaching 190 in a turn 3. They ran a 189. Bisceglia and this team have worked hard. They're trying to make the Daytona 500. They had a great run at Texas World. This is their race car from Texas World attempting to make this race. And Bisceglia, where is he going to line up? 47.55.0. That is going to be just about 2/10 behind Aiden Davidson. Right now, everyone's running fairly well in time trial sheets. 47.550 behind them. They're nearly a whole second ahead of Doug Lockrow and that team, which started up a few weeks ago. But Bisceglia right now in 12th. Here's one of our Rookie of the Year contenders, Casey Lester. We have 11 drivers running for Rookie of the Year. That is a lot of drivers. And look at this lap right now by Casey Lester. Now, you guys can't see the mile-per-hour mark, but Lester's on a really good run. Horizon Group for the Dodge of Casey Lester. Lester, in qualifying here, it's important to run a good lap, not only to try and sit on the pole, but if you cannot race your way in the duels, 6 cars get in the race off time trial speed. And Lester's got a really good lap going here. We're going to see where he places. There's a pole run for Casey Lester. Rookie Casey Lester goes to the top of the board with a 46.389. Heck of a run for Casey Lester, the rookie, for Horizon Group. 46.389. That knocks Charles Sanford off the pole, knocks Griffin off the front row. Heck of a run for Horizon Group, and what a job by Lester right now, sitting on the pole. Here's one driver everyone has been talking about in the garage area to look out for. He's already at 190 miles an hour. 192, 190, he's still at 192, did not reach 193, but he's still at 192. DeLeo and Yamp Motorsports, going to be one thing to top here in qualifying. Will probably knock off Lester. He has a good run going down the back straightaway. Still at 194, 195, heading off into turn 3. 195 miles an hour. This is looking like a pole run for Dylan Young. 46.389 is the time to beat. Dylan Young looks like he's going to be able to do it. This is going to be a good lap for Yamp Motorsports. Here he comes. 46.228. Good enough for the pole for Dylan Young. The Season 10 Daytona 500 winner. Dylan Young recently just won a race at California last year for Horizon Group and replacing Jacob Hart in the 88 car, and is on the pole right now. On the track now, Johnny Gardner and his startup team for Gardner Racing. For Johnny Gardner, he was 30th quick in practice. Doesn't look like he's going to be much of a threat for the pole or anything here, as he is about 10 miles an hour off the pace from what Dylan Young was doing off of turn 2. Gardner ran a 49.17.5 in practice. However, everyone has been picking up a whole second at least, around in between 0.7 to a second and a half. That's the pickups we have seen from practice. Gardner, if he can pick up a second, he would be ahead of Doug Lockrow. Just going to have to see, though. Johnny Gardner will more than likely have to race his way in no matter what in the duel to try and get in, because he has no owner points and will definitely not have the speed to get in on time trials. And Johnny Gardner is currently the slowest of everyone that has went out with a 46.564. Stephen Pollard III will take to the track and get ready for his final Daytona 500 start, at least attempting for it. Pollard III, The 32 car was 49th in the time trial speeds. He is doing better in qualifying, it seems. He wasn't that slow off turn 2. This team last year had Trek Togger in the car, who was also retiring at the end of the season. And Pollard III looks like he's going to be somewhat close to what Allen, Lynn, and Davidson ran. He's competing right there for a spot, right there with them guys. So, right here for the 32 team, they've had retirement drivers in the car the last 2 years now. And Pollard, where is he going to line up? A 25-2. So that's going to put him right in front, splitting the Allen family racing cars. He's going to put him in 12th. So Stephen Pollard III, hoping to race his way in, or even qualify his way in for that matter, into the Daytona 500 for his final time, a 47.252. Carson Scott on the racetrack had a very good last year. Even though he was injured and had to miss 6 races, Carson Scott had a pretty decent 2017 year. Got injured at Chicagoland, came back to Chicagoland later on that season, won at Chicagoland for his first Sony Cup Series victory, done something hardly anyone has ever been able to do, and that is win races in the top level in the Sony Cup Series. Carson Scott, however, is having a good qualifying run. I don't think it'll be a pole run, but it's a pretty solid run. He was 10th in practice. He ran a 47.28.3. If he can back that up by picking up a second and maybe a 10th, he'll take the pole, but it doesn't look like it's going to be that. 46.526. And that is just behind Luke Martin. Nearly right on top of each other. 27 car of Carson Scott places 46.52.6. 1/1000th or 1/100th of a second off of Luke Martin. Another one of our Rookie of the Year contenders, Luis Hernandez for Curtis Racing. Already off to a better start than what their affiliate teammates, the Athenia Motorsports crew, did with Erik Burton. Hernandez's teammate Schulenburg was the quickest one in practice. Hernandez wasn't that far behind. He was 15th in practice. This looks like it's going to be a pretty decent lap for Hernandez. Doesn't look like it's going to be a pole run. 193 into turn 3. Hernandez is one of those drivers that has no owner points. Will have to qualify his way in with a good lap here, or will have to race his way in on Thursday. And Hernandez, 46.492, puts him just in front of Luke Martin. That is 6th on the board. That might be good enough for Hernandez to be able to fall back on time trial speeds for Thursday if he is not able to qualify in. That is a pretty good lap for Hernandez. Jeffrey Fengee will be our 20th driver to take time for the Sony pole. But Fengee is going to be pretty disappointed as he doesn't even reach 190. Going to be pretty similar to Andreas Allen and Jeffrey Lynn, I would assume, as they are sharing data for this race weekend. Jeffrey Fengee was 38th on the board in practice. He ran a 47.94.7. Looks as though if he can pick up a little bit, he'll be right around there. If he can pick up at least half a second, and Fengee keeps it up to 190 off the corner, it's going to be a pretty decent lap at it. I'm not sure if he'll be around where Allen and Lynn are, but he'll be close. No, he picks up. He's actually really decent. He's actually better than those guys. 47.051 for Jeffrey Fengee. That is good enough for 13th fastest for Jeffrey Fengee. This team has had a really good 2017, way better than what everyone expected. He's hoping to build on that for 2018. 2016 champion and Season 7 champion Jordan Davis, 2-time champion, is on the track. Trying to mimic what Charles Sanford somewhat did. They're running similar setups for this speed weeks, and they were pretty quick through turns 1 and 2. But Doesn't look like Davis is actually running as quick as Dylan Young to be able to take the pole. Dylan Young laid down a blistering fast lap time. Davis was quick as well in practice. However, I just don't know if it'll be enough. We're going to look 46-49 flat. See here, that's going to be good enough to put him just ahead of Luis Hernandez. Puts him in 6th. So Jordan Davis with a 46.490. Just in front of Hernandez, and that's good enough for 6th place. Jeff James out on the racetrack now, attempting to run in the Daytona 500. This team has no owner points. Considering Jeff James has been a championship contender the last few seasons, he is not guaranteed a starting position. He did stay up in the 190s the whole time. This is the sister team to Mase Enterprises. Mase Enterprises has been helping out Jeff James, getting this team started up. And Jeff James was quick in the Sony shootout. And he's looking pretty decent here to lay down a good enough time to maybe be good enough to get him in on speed if he's not able to race in. Because this doesn't look like a pole run, but it looks like it's going to be around in the 40s and the 50s. Yep, in the 52. Ran a 46.52.7. That is just behind, like literally, like right on top of Martin and Scott. This puts him 10th on the board for Jeff James. Pretty good lap. This should be good enough for Jeff James to get in on speed if he's not able to race in. Good enough lap. Nick Mase is going to wind it up and give it a shot now. He is our 23rd driver to take time of today. Heading into the turn. Doesn't look as quick as what Dylan Young did. Dylan Young was at 190 way before turn 1, but Mase still in the gas. 192 off turn 2. That is pretty good. Was able to not scrub off much speed at all in the turns. 195. He's able to be 195. Couldn't get up to 196. I don't believe this is going to be a pole run, but this could be a good enough lap to possibly knock Casey Lester off the front row and be a guaranteed starting position in the 500. Here comes Nick Mase. To the line. Oh, on the pole, Nick Mase out of nowhere knocks Dylan Young off the pole. I didn't even see that coming. He must have had a very good car in the turns because he was blistering through the turns, and it didn't even look like he had that much speed down the straightaway, but it was good enough in the corners. He held the corner speeds. Nick Mase, 46.21.9, good enough to knock Dylan Young off the pole, and Lester will have to say bye-bye to the front row. It is Nick Mase and Dylan Young. Mase had pretty good. He was one of the best in the corners. I said he was 192 off the corners. Man, I didn't think he had that good of straightaway speed, but that might be a pole lap. Good run for Nick Mase. Man, that just shows you that holding corner speed, having a good handling race car means a lot in qualifying. Did not expect Nick Mase to be on the pole. I expected him to be about 2/10 slower because he was about a mile an hour slower than what Young was heading into the corners, but he was able to hold the speed throughout the corners way better than Young. Colt Ever on the racetrack now. Teammates with Johnny Gardner. Gardner Racing Car, 37. This car actually has sponsorship from Zing Zang Chevy. Zing Zang, the sponsor. Chevy, the manufacturer. Colt Ever, Hardy's National Series driver from last year, moving up to the Cup level, making his Cup Series campaign for his rookie year. He's going to have a really tough year trying to make races for this team, especially with how many people are trying to attempt these races. However, 47.96, that is good enough for, let's see down here. It's down here, it's good enough for 22nd on the board for Colt Ever. Colt Ever for Gardner Racing lays down a 47.96, good enough for 22nd out of 24 cars. Here's another driver everyone has been saying that will possibly be a threat for the pole, Steven Jenkins. 189 already, 190. He's actually not up to speed as much as Young was, 191 in a turn 1. 190 all the way through, so he is slower than what Nick Mase was off of turn 2. Gonna have to see if that straightaway speed from the Yank Motors, if they can get something down the straightaway, but it just doesn't seem like a pole run. 193 in a turn 3. He's just missing a little bit of something. He was 16th on the time trial sheets in practice. He's probably going to be a little bit down in how this lap will go. 46.560. So, no, not a run that Stephen Jenkins was really hoping to see, as this places him 12th on the board. 46.56.0 is the time. Well, as we get further down into the guys running for qualifying, this is the 26th driver, Jon Bunnell. Driving for Hood Huddleston Racing, goes into turn 1 at 184 miles an hour. And actually, that car is actually handling very, very well. It stayed at 184 all the way through the corner, so that car is set up pretty well. Just the horsepower isn't quite there. So this is the same exact car that this team brought to Daytona for Becca Haddix last year, and Becca Haddix qualified in, raced her way in, a matter of fact. And that's possibly what's going to have to happen as well, because in my opinion, if you want to qualify your way in for the races here for Speed Weeks, you're more than likely going to have to qualify in the top 25 to make the race on speed if you have to fall back on time trial speeds. Jon Bunnell, however, qualifies at a 48.21.8, which is good enough to be just ahead of Doug Lockrow for the 24th position. And Jon Bunnell is going to have to start from the rear of the field in his respected dual races, and is going to have a tough time making the race, but this car made it last year, possibly can this year as well. Charlie Smith is the next one out on the racetrack, and speaking of having to qualify really well and to have a good enough lap to possibly rely on to make the race, 192 heading into the turn number 1, comes off the corner, 191. This could be a good lap if he has the straightaway speed. However, what I was talking about when we were focused on Jon Bunnell, qualifying, if you do not race your way in the Daytona duels that we have, then you're going to have a good lap to rely on to fall back on speed. And since Charlie Smith is one of these guys that has no owner points and no provisionals, Charlie Smith is going to have a really good lap or race his way in. And this looks like a good one. A 46.355. That is good enough for third. Jumps in front of Casey Lester. How about this for Charlie Smith? Great run for Smith. Jumped on board with Jeff James Incorporated. And this team is getting some support from Mase Enterprises. And you can tell that this support package is really helping these guys. Great run for Smith. That'll be a good enough lap to get him in the show no matter what. Fantastic run. Another contender for the pole, I would believe. Dom Capps, 190 already, 191, 192. Doesn't quite reach 193, but Dom Capps, let's see how he reaches 91 already. He's already dropped to 191. 192 off turn 2, getting up to speed really quickly. Dom Capps could be a threat here. 195, flying into turn 3, 195. The Fords have some great straightaway speeds I have seen. And here comes Capps, 193 off turn 4. This could be a pole run. It could be a front row run here. Here comes Capps. And 2080, Dom Capps takes the pole from Nick Mase. And that is a pole run for Dom Capps. Heck of a run for Dom Capps and the Martin Motorsports team. 2 years in a row, possibly, that Martin Motorsports sits atop the board. As, man, Dom Capps gets the pole right now by 1/100th of a second over Nick Mase. Season 4 champion Hayden Klein, our oldest champion. Well, I wouldn't say our oldest champion, but obviously not the most recent champion. if you look at the past champions on the list, Hayden Klein, you have to go all the way down to the bottom of the champions that are still active to find Hayden Klein, Season 4. The longest champion around that is not the most active. Hayden Klein out here making a lap. He has started up his own race team after not getting hired on to drive for anyone for this season. He still wanted to be around in a race car. He went about making him a ride, and this is his team driving the 9 car, similar to what he drove to a championship in Season 4. This should be a solid run, but not obviously the best. However, he's going to be right in the mix of all these guys back here in the 47 seconds as he runs a 47.40.02, and that is good enough to be right behind Aiden Davidson, right there in the mix of Andres Allen and Jeffrey Lynn and all of them, as Hayden Klein places 24th out of the 29 cars that have taken time. Yeah, Klein starting up his own race team called Young Wicked Racing, and he places a 47.42 47.402 to place 24th. Matthew Rodriguez, the Season 14 Daytona 500 champion, up to 190 miles an hour already, 191, 192. This is a Martin Motorsports car, teammates to Dom Capps. How will he be able to hold the strength through the corner? He got up to 192 just off the corner. These Fords have some incredible straightaway speeds. Can he get up to 195? Yes, he can. 195 down into turn 3. Rodriguez trying to put Martin Motorsports sweeping the front row for 2 years in a row. Rodriguez off turn 4, 193. This could be a mirror image to Dom Capps, but where will it place him? At the line, Rodriguez, 46.23.7. Not quite enough. Places him 4th. So Matthew Rodriguez just misses the front row just by a little bit. Rodriguez in the Napa Ford will place 46.23.7. Jordan Fisher out on the racetrack for Fisher Motorsports, driving his own team. His team actually looks pretty quick right now, up to 193 miles an hour. Stays around 193, 192. This could be a good lap for Jordan Fisher. How about this run for Fisher? Up to 192. That car hardly ever slowed down. 195. What a run for Jordan Fisher in this Toyota team. 196. That is the first time we've seen someone pop up to 196, and Fisher hits it. This team assumed all of the Fuel Brothers Racing cars, teams, employees, and everything, and here they are. Jordan Fisher trying to upset, take the pole. Can he do it? At the line, 46.016. What a run for Jordan Fisher. How about that? That is like 2/10 faster than Dom Capps. Heck of a run for Jordan Fisher. That is a blistering fast lap. I didn't even think anyone would crack at 45, but Fisher nearly does it. And a way faster than Capps and Mase and Young and Rodriguez. Heck of a run for Fisher Motorsports. They are on the pole right now. Wow. After a heck of a run for Jordan Fisher and that team, Shawn Harpal is the next one out for Athenian Motorsports. See that car just bottom out in the corner there? Trying to keep it as low as possible. Car doesn't seem to be as quick as some of these other ones we've seen, but it does look very similar to the other Athenian Motorsports cars we have seen out there, like Erik Burton. And he's up to speed relatively on the straightaways, but team's got to fix the corner speed a little bit. Got to get that car to be able to not scrub off as much speed. Shawn Harpal will possibly be able to lay down a solid enough lap. Let's see though. 46.66 or 46.687, and that lap will be good enough to be just ahead of Lamas and behind Stephen Jenkins to be in 17th. 31 car of Shawn Harpal, 46.687. Man, that lap might be good enough to get him in on speed if he needs it, but Harpal runs a solid lap. Pierre, driver of Hero Motorsports, who was the Red Bull team that kind of Red Bull quit sponsoring the team, and they quit owning it, and got re-signed by a new team called Hero Motorsports. It's basically the same team, just different renewed name. So Pierre, driving the 13 Toyota. He had a miserable last year, but this year looking for better things. Having a pretty decent qualifying run to try and qualify in the 500. Went 194 in the corner. He's holding his own right now. Doesn't look like it's going to be anywhere near a pole run. Nothing like Jordan Fisher's lap. But this is going to be a pretty decent one. Pierre to the line. 46.321. Pretty quick. 6th fastest for Pierre. And I think he's going to be pretty happy with that lap. Even though it wasn't a pole run, it could have been a lot worse because that team picked up a good bit from practice, and that's going to be 6th fastest. And at the line, Josh Crash, another Rookie of the Year contender, will take the green. We're going to take a look. I think this car is very much set up just like Jeffrey Fengee's car, and it seems that way. However, this car seems to be handling pretty well, 190 off the corner. So, Josh Crash trying to lay down a good enough lap where he can maybe rely on some speed to make the race if he absolutely has to. But Josh Crash doesn't look like he's going to be able to make a run at the pole. Jordan Fisher laid down such a fast time. I can't believe the time he ran. Like, his teammate Fitzwater is like 9/10, nearly a second off his lap. But Josh Crash, 46.621. That is good enough to be behind Steven Jenkins and ahead of Shawn Harpal. 18th fastest for the 26 team of Josh Crash. 46.621 for Josh Crash. Levi Pascoe is out on the racetrack. He'll be your 35th driver to take time today. And Pascoe, much like the other Athenian cars that have taken time, just is struggling to find the straightaway speed to be able to mash the gas and lay down a good lap. Because that car barely was able to reach 190 entering the corner, and now he's up to 190 again, 191. And that's all she's going to get out of her. The car, that is, Levi Pascoe, not able to get that car as fast as it should be. Harpal and Burton laid down some laps earlier. They were down in the 60s, 70s, 80s, somewhere in there, and they just wasn't able to do anything. And Pascoe's going to be just a little slower than what Burton did. Burton down here ran almost in the 47 seconds. Pascoe was in the 47 seconds. He's going to be down here in 25th position. Levi Pascoe runs a 47.12.5. So that is the time that Pascoe lays. He's going to be very disappointed with that one. He's going to have to get after it in the dual races. Another driver everyone in the garage is going to be watching very, very closely. The rookie, Erik De Max. 191 into turn 1. Not as fast as everyone thought that he would be. 192 when he hit in the 1 and 2. He's holding a steady lap. And off the corner, 192. We're going to have to watch and see. 193. 194. He's going to have to get up to 195, 196 to even challenge for the pole. But I think this might be a decent lap. This looks like it could be a 30. Around in the 30s, maybe in the 40s, because it dropped just a hair, but we'll have to see. As Erik De Max, the rookie, his Cup Series Rookie of the Year campaign starts here. 46.34.2 for Erik De Max. That is good enough for 7th position. Good run for the rookie. Mase Enterprises has a very good setup for these qualifying sessions because they are really quick right now. 46.342 for Erik De Max. You're watching a legend behind the wheel yet again, and this guy's already to 191, 192, 193, 194. Richard Johnson Man, this guy sits out a whole year for retirement. Possibly we thought this guy was done. 193 off the corner. 194. Richard Johnson, 95, 195. 196. This is going to be the threat for the pole. 196 up into turn 3. Look out, Jordan Fisher. The front row could be a surprise. Richard Johnson, if he doesn't get the front row, I'll be shocked here. Could possibly knock Fisher off. Could crack a 45. Richard Johnson to the line. 45.90. Ho, ho, ho. 45.90 by Richard Johnson. Richard Johnson in the 93 Amoco Chevy. What a job by Richard Johnson. 45.90, 45.906 to be exact. Heck of a lap by Richard Johnson. Man, these Mase Enterprises engines are just flying around here. His teammates, this is a one-off attempt for the 93 team for Jeff James Incorporated. And Jeff James and Charlie Smith, they're kind of all over the board, but Richard Johnson, heck of a lap. I know Mase Enterprises has been really helping out this team a lot, but that team was blistering fast. They're like 4/10, nearly half a second on Dom Caps, and then a 10th on Jordan Fisher. Heck of a lap for Richard Johnson. Man, just these guys are running unbelievable times because in practice, these guys wasn't even running like that. Richard Johnson ran a 47.24 in practice. He was quick, but man, for him to pick up like he did, he has picked up a 2nd and 3/10. I know the biggest pickup I have seen has been out of DJ Curtis, specifically him, with him picking up like a 2.5 seconds. These guys are picking up huge chunks of ground. James Shelley is one that really had a good lap time in practice. However, I'm not sure he's running that quick. He's not even getting up off turn 4 at 190. Well, it seems like the Fengee Satomi cars and the Allen Family Racing team is just not running that well as if they would want to. 47.06 for James Shelley, and he's going to be right behind boss of Jeffrey Fengee in the 27th position. So the season 17 champion of the Daytona 500 will be deep in the pack in the duels. He's going to have to race his way in, no points, and not really a good starting position or time trial speed either. Green flag is out for qualifying for Matt DeLeo. He will be our 39th driver. And this is Cloud9 Racing. Renewed number. DeLeo looking to get this car in the field. He has failed to attempt to make these races in the last few attempts. But Matt DeLeo hoping to get Cloud9 Racing into the field. If they can make this race, they said they would go on to Rockingham and attempt as much races as they can. But this team was able to make the race with Michael White last year, and DeLeo made many races with this team last year. Cloud9 is on their last leg, it seems, and DeLeo's trying to do all he can for them. And at the line, 47.81 for DeLeo. That's going to be good enough to put him in the 35th position ahead of Cole Deaver. And the 61 team, no doubt, will have to race their way in to the Daytona 500 for them to have any shot at making the Great American Race. Here comes Ryan Acosta, and if his lap is going to be anything like his teammates' laps, he might not be very happy with it, but Acosta, 191, pretty decent run in the corner. See what he ran in practice. Ryan Acosta, he won here in July. He was 21st in practice, by the way. 47.55.8. And everybody has picked up from their speed. And we're going to look here. 47.55 is what he ran. I expect him to run about a second. This insane. The track temperature is dropping like it has. For everyone to pick up about a second. Look at this right here. Coming to the line. Yep, a whole second. A second and a tenth to be exact. 46.439. And that puts him in the 13th position, just ahead of DJ Curtis. Good run for Acosta, though. Better than his teammates have done. And a 46.439. Acosta looking for another good season with Allen Family Racing Team. A good, solid qualifying run right now. Here's another driver everyone's going to be looking at. James Silverfox. 190. 191. Nah, it doesn't look like it's going to be quite as good. It looks like about the same as what maybe Steven Jenkins ran, and he's down 20th right now. 191 off turn 2, so yep, it doesn't look as quick as what Richard Johnson and Jordan Fisher have been able to pull together. Those two teams have really worked hard for qualifying, and Silver Fox's team doesn't seem as though it's going to be a pole run. It's going to be a solid enough lap, but it's not going to be a pole run. Here comes Silver Fox coming to the line. This is going to be, he's the defending winner of the Daytona 500. He's looking to win it here yet again for back-to-back seasons. 46-46, so he lines himself up right behind DJ Curtis in the 15th position. So a solid lap for Silver Fox, but not exactly what I think the team was wanting to see. A 46-465. Chris Dodd is the next guy to come out on the racetrack. He will be our 42nd different driver to come out on the board and try for an attempt. Dodd looking like he's not very quick right now. He's only like he's a few mile-an-hour slower through the corner than what the fastest guys have been able to run. And usually like a 96 is what everyone's been able to run, but he's only 193 in a turn 3. So Chris Dodd and this team's going to be rather disappointed. This is the same team that qualified so well with Jeff James last year. And yeah, they're going to be very disappointed with this one. And it's going to be a 46-48-1. It's a solid lap. It places them right in front of Hernandez, or right in front of Davis for the 16th place. But compared to where their teammates are and how Dom Caps and Rodriguez ran, it is not what Chris Dodd wanted. And his team, 46-481. Bobby Jones is going to be the next driver to go out. Rookie of the Year contender for Hero Motorsports. His teammate of Pierre Cleese is right now 7th on the board. Really good run for Pierre Cleese. However, this run does not look like it's going to suit up to be as good as what his teammate's lap was. They're 192 down the straightaway, and that's what most people were doing off the corners. So Jones and the 98 team is going to have to find some speed. However, when you get in the draft, it really evens out. And some drivers that aren't that good in single-car runs can find something in the draft. And that might be something what a lot of these drivers are going to be doing, and a lot more drivers are tuned up for. 46-64, so it's not a top 20 run. In fact, it's going to drop Jones all the way down to 24th. So a 24th starting, well, not really a 24th starting position, but right now he's 24th currently. The 98 Toyota for Bobby Jones will be 46, and then a 64-1 for his lap time. All right, this is going to be one to watch. Dylan Schulenburg was the fastest driver in practice, the only practice we had leading up to this, and we're going to have to watch him. And right away, you notice that there's something about this car just does not like, because it's up to only 190 miles an hour for Dylan Schulenburg. It's now up to speed down the back straightaway, but it just didn't have good enough speed to get up to where everyone else has been. 193 entering turn 3. You can see, I don't think this car really likes the colder conditions on the racetrack. I think this car would have been a lot better in the slick conditions and the hotter track with the hotter temperatures out there where the engine flowing through the air. So Schulenburg, going to be pretty disappointed with that, because he only picks up about 4/10, and probably the slowest pickup that we've seen out of anybody throughout qualifying. and he's going to qualify down in the 23rd position, down here 46.57.4. So Schulenburg with no owner points to rely on, not the speed he was hoping for. He had a good practice run, but was not able to back it up. Ember Ross will now take to the track. She will be the 45th different driver to take time. Actually has a relatively quick car going into the corner, so this is a new team. Angel Navarro owns the team, and this is a part-time operation for the 64 team. They are attempting to make the Daytona 500. Ross has never made a Sony Cup Series start ever, hoping to make it this weekend here in the Daytona 500 for this week. Ember Ross off the corner does not look like she's got the speed to be relatively quick. We'll have to race her way in the duels on Thursday. 47.842. And that's going to be good enough to place her. Actually, that isn't even faster than anybody. Actually, I lied. Coming down here, even further down the charts. And she comes down here. She's going to place 41st out of the 45 cars that have taken time. 64 of Ember Ross, the rookie. 47.842. That is the time that she laid down. No doubt we'll have to race her way in on Thursday. Here's somebody I think could be a threat for the pole. We're fixing to find out. Jake Bysinger in the Turner Performance Racing car. 193 into turn 1. We're going to see if he can keep up the corner speed. Was not able to really, but he keeps up just a smidgen. How is the straightaway speed? So Jake Bysinger is year after year has been so good for Turner Performance. He is 195, close to 196, can't quite get there. I think he'll possibly be able to get third, maybe. He'll be right around Dom Capps and Nick Mason, Dylan Young. Let's see Jake Bysinger bringing it to the line, the 97 Ford. And Bysinger runs a 46.13.6. Good enough for third position, just misses. Well, he's off about a 10th off of Jordan Fisher, but that's about a 10th ahead of Dom Capps as well. A good, steady lap for Jake Bysinger. That's a good one. But wasn't able to get the pole, wasn't able to get on the front row. A shame for Bysinger, but it's still a solid run. Ember Ross just came out on the racetrack not too long ago, just before Bysinger. And the owner of that car, Angel Navarro, is out on the racetrack. We're fixing to see. But Navarro doesn't look even as quick as Ross, which is kind of shocking to me because Ember Ross struggled in practice, was 55th in practice, and Navarro was a little quicker, 51st. So it's obvious that this team, Archangel Automotive Group, is got a big hill to climb in the duels. They have to race their way in almost. Finished 15th or better to make the race, and it's going to be tough to do whenever you have about 27 cars, 28, 29 out there racing each other. 47.857 for Angel Navarro. That is nearly 2 seconds off of Richard Johnson's lap. Let's see here. That's actually a little bit better than what I thought it was going to be. It's just right on top of Ember Ross's lap. So the two teammates are about as quick as each other. Angel Navarro runs a 857 and places himself in the 43rd position out of 47 right now. Up next, you have William Brock, and then it is Sean Perkins, the last two Horizon Group cars. Casey Lester's 11th right now. So let's see how the other ones do. The other Horizon Group cars, 193, 194 in a turn 1. William Brock, Horizon Group has worked closely together with them 3 cars together, so possibly all 3 of them will run about the same time. Brock, 195, 196. not quite able to get to 197, but Brock having a good run. This is going to be a great time for William Brock. It's going to be way better than Casey Lester's, I believe. Let's see. 195, 196. I believe this is going to be in the 20s or maybe in the teens. Let's see what William Brock does. 45.91. Man, he almost took Richard Johnson off the board. William Brock's on the outside of the front row. That took me by surprise. I did not expect him to be even that quick. William Brock just barely misses Richard Johnson from the pole. A 45.917. Good Lord. That is way faster than I thought it would be. Heck of a lap by the Horizon Group team to put that 76 car right there. Nearly a pole run, but that will put him on the outside front row. And if he can stay there, that'll be a guaranteed starting position for him in the 500. Here's the other Horizon Group car. We're going to have to see where this one lines up. Sean Perkins. Right now, he doesn't even look like he's that up to speed as much as everyone else. Man, he didn't even reach a 190. Wow, that does not like Sean Perkins and Horizon Group. Horizon Group has a really good setup for William Brock and Casey Lester. It's kind of blowing me away right now that Sean Perkins does not have a good lap going right now. He got up to 191, but it's definitely nothing like William Brock's lap or even Casey Lester. So here comes Perkins off the corner. Gonna have to see where he lines up. And to the line, definitely not going to be anything like his teammates' lap. In fact, it's way down the chart. A 46.999 right there around where Erik Burton ran his lap. And it's way down here. And Sean Perkins runs in the 32nd position. Wow. That's not what he was wanting. Perkins will be down here. That lap is not going to be fast enough to get him in the race. He's going to have to really get after it in the duels. 32nd fastest. Milton Campbell in the 74 Toyota Camry is out on the racetrack to take time. This will be your 50th qualifier. We are running out of drivers. Only 8 people. 7 after this one. And Campbell, this team is a startup team by Trek Togger. Campbell drove in the Hardee's National Series last year. But the 74 team, the Togger Racing Unit, attempting to make the Daytona 500. Campbell trying to make her first ever Sony Cup Series race. They're going to have to, an uphill battle like a bunch of these other smaller teams. Don't have the funds and the equipment as much as these bigger funded teams. And so this team will be lower down on the charts, so we'll definitely have to get ready for Thursday, because I don't see them getting as good a lap as they need. A 48.13 is the time that Campbell took. That is behind Deaver. That's good enough for 47th best. So 74 of Milton Campbell runs a 47.13.5. That is good enough for 47th out of 50th. John Arndt on the racetrack now. Arndt for CM Racing. This team was full-time for the 2017 season with Chris Dodd. That's the 3 car. Renewed number to the 0 car. And running part-time. Arndt trying to make the Daytona 500 with this team. Getting some support from Athenian Motorsports. Arndt going down the back straightaway, going into the turn, just not quite able to hit 190. So we're not quite sure where this lap will line up. But John Arndt will more than likely, unless owner points is good enough for him, will have to race his way in. Because right now a 47.58, which is only good enough to earn 43rd out of 51 cars. 43rd for John Arndt. It's going to have some luck cut out for him. 47.580. So John Arndt will be coming from the rear. And for CM Racing, trying to get them in the show yet again, like they did last year. Garrett Sidner, one of the drivers that are going to be battling for the Rookie of the Year. Teammate Bradley Bishop Jr. went out earlier. Is about midfield right now. But Sidner looks to be pretty quick. 193 right now. Kept the speed all the way through the corner. Sidner could be a threat here. He has a good handling race car. 196. Oh, Sidner could beat him. 197 into turn 3. Garrett Sidner could knock Richard Johnson off or battle William Brock. 195 off the corner. Sidner's flying around this track. Garrett Sidner in the 96 Blue Flare Motorsports car to the line. Sidner does it. Garrett Sidner to the pole. Whale of a lap for Garrett Sidner. Man, everyone has said that that man is the future of the series. Was so good in the Hardy's National Series. Had a slump last year. It cost him the championship late. But Garrett Sidner steals the thunder from the veteran, one of the kings of the series, Richard Johnson. Johnson coming back trying to win the Daytona 500. Came in here full force. Thought he was going to win the pole. I didn't think anyone else had anything for him. But Sidner rocks his thunder. The Toyota takes the pole. What a drive here. Man, Toyota, Chevy, Dodge, the top 3 right now. Another Athenia Motorsports car, and this will be the last one, I believe. Yep, this is the last one. PJ Williams. Athenia Motorsports all around has not had the best car through the straightaways. Like on the straightaways, they don't have as much horsepower, but they are able to keep their their corner speed up. And eventually, I believe that's going to really help them in the dual races and the 500 as well. But you see, Williams is able to get up to 193 into the corner. He's able to keep it all the way through the corner at a 192. Drops a little off to 191. So, Williams, it's going to be interesting to see where he lines up. I don't believe it'll be a top 20 or top 25 run. Actually, let's see. It's a 46.736. And it's going to put him all the way down here in the 29th position. Ahead of Cody Lamas. Actually, in 30th position. So, P.J. Williams, his return to the Sony Cup Series. He ran very well for Athenia Motorsports in the Hardy's National Series. And he's in 30th position for Athenia Motorsports in his return to the Cup level. This right here could be a heavy hitter for the pole. We'll have to see. Caleb Hoffman, the 54th driver to go out. Not very many drivers left. 193 into the corner for Turner Performance Racing's own Caleb Hoffman. His corner speed looked really good. Kept it up to 192, 193, 194. Doesn't look like it's going to be a pole run because he had to be up to 196, 195. Not quite able to get up to 196, but Hoffman replaced Carson Scott after his injury for a couple races. Did really well. Impressed the team at Turner Performance, and he got a ride. Replaced Luke Martin after this retirement at his season. And a 46.11.3. Really good run. That's just in front of Jake Bysinger. That's good enough for 5th quick. Really good run. That's going to be a great lap for Hoffman. Even though I know that team really wanted a pole run, this is going to be one of those runs. Right, he's actually quicker than all of his teammates right now. However, Jesse Turner is coming up. We're getting down to the nitty-gritty. For the pole, does anybody have anything left for Sidner or Johnson? Kyle Collins, teammates with Sidner and the owner of that car. You would think they would have shared data, but Collins, I think he's got to set up more closely to Bishop Jr. because Collins is not up to speed like Sidner was. Sidner flew around those bumps like it was no tomorrow. And Collins up to 191 and a 3, but that's just about it. So Kyle Collins should be good in owner points. Doesn't matter where he qualifies. He should be in on owner points. He has a provisional. And at the line, a 47.14. It's not really what he was wanting. He's like a whole second and 2/10 off of his teammate. Way down the chart. You got to go all the way down right there. There's Levi Pascoe. He's just ahead right there in the 40th position. So that's a pretty disappointing lap for Collins. He's just ahead of Allen. 41, Kyle Collins is going to have to work on his race car and get him up the order because of 47-14-2. It's not where he wants to be right now. 2 guys left, and they are big hitters. Jesse Turner, Dajon Weeks, any of them two can knock down a good lap to win the pole. Turner, 193. We're going to see he's running about a good enough lap, just like Hoffman Bysinger. But off of the turn, I don't know if he's going to be able to do it. 194, 195. I don't think he's going to be able to knock him off the pole. He's got up to 196. But I don't see it happening, guys. But Jesse Turner is going to have a great qualifying run. Coming back around. 194 to the line. Johnson trying to hang on. Sidner trying to hang on as well. And to the line, 45.98. Not enough. 4th fastest for Jesse Turner for Turner Performance Racing. 4th for the 17 team of Jesse Turner. The best of the Turner Performance Group. Great job to them, but they just missed it of being on the front row. And the final heavyweight hitter for qualifying, 190 already, 191. Dajon Weeks is going to give it a run for his money. He won the Sony shootout. He already has the momentum built up. But he is not running as quick as the other guys. 192 off of the turn 2. How is the straightaway speed? 194. 195. Doesn't look like he's going to be able to beat Sidner. 196. Can't quite get there to 197. 196 still. Dajon Weeks. I don't believe he's going to be able to knock off Sidner. But can he get to Richard Johnson? Johnson trying to hang on. Sidner's already got a front row start. He's trying to win the pole. Weeks to the line. Not enough. 45.97.7 is only good enough for 4th quickest. He just beats Jesse Turner. 4th fastest for Dajon Weeks. Weeks and that team has a lot of momentum on their side. 45.977. Good enough for 4th fastest. So that is it for qualifying. Garrett Sidner, the rookie. We had a rookie lead practice. Dylan Schulenburg, his team really didn't find a good handling car and a good way to fix the car up for qualifying, it seems, because that car did not like the cooler temperatures. Schulenburg deep down the order, but another rookie tops the board in qualifying for pole day. That is Garrett Sidner. Sidner, alongside veteran Richard Johnson. 24-time winner, 2-time champion, and Johnson many times has been so close to winning the Great American Race. He is back in one-off attempt to try and win the Great American Race. He came up short of the pole, but those two know where they'll be starting. They'll be starting on the front row for the Daytona 500. Everyone else don't know where they'll be starting, but we can assure you that William Brock, Dajon Weeks, Jesse Turner, Jordan Fisher, Caleb Hoffman, and Jake Bysinger are in the race on speed. They cannot fall out of the race no matter what. Even if they do not race their way in, they are the highest drivers, the highest 6 drivers already on time trial speed. 6 drivers will get in on speed, and we already know those 6 drivers are the next highest 6, not on the front row, so they will be in the field from 9th on down. They aren't guaranteed a spot just yet, so any of them drivers down below, they're going to have to wait until after the duels to know if they'll make the race or not. You're going to have to get after it in the duel race. So, we'll show you the starting lineup.